Look how many views this woman has gotten. 12 million, 21 million, 7 million, 5, 20, 2. Bro, these views are ridiculous. In case you don't know what's going on here, this woman dropped a 50-part series. 50 parts, all 10 minutes long, on who the F did she marry. Basically, her husband was a piece of crap. I haven't watched the whole thing because, of course, this is a whole damn near double digital, go to the cinema with your friends, grab some popcorn movie. Let's do the maths here. 50 times 10. That's 500 minutes divided by 60. That's 8 hours. 8 hours of content. Bro, I said a movie. That's a whole trilogy, fam. That's a whole Star Wars trilogy right there, bro. Ridiculous. People believe that TikTok are trying to push this long form content and this is their way of doing it. I don't know what to believe in it. Nonetheless, I believe it's juicy. I want to watch one of them and just see how it starts and see if it's something that I can get involved in. If you want to see me watch all of them, it ain't happening. I'm going to tell you that right now. We can watch some of them together, but we're going to watch part 1 and just see where it starts and where it's going to go. You know what I mean?
Please excuse the hair, but here is part 1 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? So
Wow.
I met my ex-husband around March 4th of 2020. We met on Facebook dating site, and we also matched on Hinge. I did not realize that he was on both under 2 different names. So
it's
one
already
was
started.
his actual name, and the other one was a variation, like a nickname that he called himself. Different pictures. So it was a running joke between us. Oh, you ain't even recognize that you had matched with me on Hinge. No, I didn't. And also that should have been a red flag. By the way, you will notice in this story, I called it the United Nations of red flags. It is so many red flags that, I mean, you would have thought I was colorblind because I ignored all of them.
And do you know what's crazy as well? I haven't even heard most of it yet. Like I said, I'm going into it for the first time with you. But there's a chance that this could straight up just be a movie script. You know what I mean? Content is consumed in so many different ways these days that something like this can just be explained to you in a story like this because it wasn't able to be actually filmed and put into a movie. But let's continue to watch and see what she has to say.
So, anyway, back to the story. We met around March 4th. We exchanged phone numbers. He called me and we talked on the phone for the first time. In the first phone call, he told me that he had just moved to Georgia from California from San Diego. His job had transferred him because he was being transferred in as the new regional manager for a major condiment company that is based here in Georgia. I'm not going to say the name. And so we also talked about his childhood. He told me he grew up in Philly. He's from Philly. Both of his parents were deceased. This is the first phone call. Both of his parents were deceased. His father was a Philadelphia police officer. His mom was a teacher. He also told me he...
that is a bit weird.
He briefly lived...
First phone call, guys. The first time you ever speak to someone on the phone. Obviously, it depends on how long the conversation goes for. I don't know if you're going to disclose that information or not. But first phone call, you're already talking about like parents and all of that personal information. That's a bit mad, but that's just my opinion.
Lived in Augusta with his family. He had 2 brothers and 2 sisters. He also had 2 half-brothers on his dad's side. First phone call. So I'm just giving you guys the backstory. This was the first phone call we had. So we talked about family. We talked about friends. We talked about our jobs. At the time, I was working at Georgia State Patrol. And he knew this, and he just thought that was like, wow.
And that police.
So you work with troopers all day. Yes, I did. Also in that phone call, he explained to me that he used to play football. He explained that he used to play arena football. I know nothing about arena football. I know about NFL, I know about college, go Dogs, but I don't know anything about arena football. So he explained to me that he used to play arena football. He used to work at Apple in the off season of arena football. And I remember thinking on that phone call,
What's going
oh,
on?
okay, like, good for you. I don't know anything about arena football, and I believe I did tell him that. I don't know anything about arena football. That'll come into play later on.
Hmm.
So,
Can you see
he told me,
foreshadowing? She's leaving little breadcrumbs. Now I'm looking forward to hearing the callback to the arena football. Come on, man, this is great storytelling already.
I just moved here. My job is paying for my housing, and they are helping me to look for a house. He was like, I'm trying right now. I'm in Gwinnett County, but I'm trying to look for a house, ideally in Atlanta, like Brookhaven, Sandy Springs. He was like, I really would like to move out there. And so I thought, that's great. You're looking to get a house. You just moved here. He was like, I don't really know too many people here because I spend all my time at work, and this job is really demanding. So that was our first phone call. We talked more. He talked a lot, which took me by surprise because I'm not really used to men talking more than me. He eventually asked me out on a date. Our first date was set for Saturday, March 7th, 2020. He asked me what was my favorite restaurant. I said Cheesecake Factory. And so we agreed to go out at the Cheesecake Factory in a location that was in between. I lived in Clayton County at the time. He lived in Gwinnett County. I realized that if you don't know anything about Metro Atlanta, that makes no sense. But basically, we lived about 45 minutes apart. So we agreed to meet at the Cheesecake Factory over at Perimeter Mall, which is in an area, Sandy Springs, Dunwoody area. I was excited. Like, I called my friends and was like, I got a date, blah, blah, blah. We'll see how it goes. First conversation was good. Hopefully he looks like his pictures, because, that's always an issue with online dating. Hopefully he looks like his pictures. So on my way to our date, I took 285, and literally right before I got to Boulder Crest, the exit for Boulder Crest, I heard a boom, and I lost control of my car. Thank God that
Bro, you telling me this is not a movie? Can you hear this? Literally on the way to the first date. What are the odds? That's the sign from God right there, first and foremost. The car said you ain't going nowhere. You're not going nowhere. Well, let's see what she has to say.
Not thank God, but I knew what to do. So I did not crash, but my tire blew out. So I called him and I said, hey, I'm so sorry, but my tire just blew on 285. I'm slowly making my way off the exit. I believe I pulled into a Chevron gas station, and I said, I got to get this fixed. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm a damsel in distress kind of thing. He kind of paused. He got quiet, and he was like, tell me exactly where you are. Drop your pin. So I dropped the pin, and he came to the gas station. Got out the car, and I was so relieved that he actually looked like his pictures that I was like, oh my God, he's actually attractive. Because he's like
damn.
6'4", 6'5". Oh, also, man, I apologize. So let me go back to the first conversation. Let me add something. He did tell me in the first phone call that he was divorced, and that his ex-wife, she had 2 children, a boy and a girl, who were teenagers, young adults. I think the girl was about 20, and he said that he had a very close relationship with his stepkids, but that he and his ex-wife had divorced because she cheated on him out in California. And so coming to Georgia was a new beginning for him. She was still out in California. The kids were still out in California. And so
you leave that out?
He was like,
divorce with children.
I can't stand her, but I still want to be in the kids' lives. I have to put that in there because that will come back later. So this is just setting the stage. Again, that first conversation we talked about family, job, friends, how he ended up in Georgia, me being in Georgia, the things that, I would think people talk about in the first conversation. All right, now back to the tire blew out. So he shows up to the gas station. He changes my tire, which I just thought was the sexiest thing in the world. And then he proceeds to say, hey, I found a tire place around the corner. You need to get another tire. Like, you can't drive on this donut. So he followed me to the tire place, and then helped me get a tire, paid for it. So I was definitely like, wow. And so the vibe was good. So anyway, I get the tire fixed. We follow each other to the Cheesecake Factory.
Did they still win?
In Perimeter. We hold hands walking into the Cheesecake Factory. So in my mind, I'm like, this is just this. Oh my God, I had butterflies. That's the look of.
And the fact that this is the aftermath. She's reliving the first date, but this is after it's all gone wrong. But yet, you can tell that as she's talking about it, she's still reliving the joy that she had on that first date. This is actually great storytelling.
We had butterflies. So I had butterflies. And we go in, there's a long wait. And so we sit outside and we just talk. And the conversation's great. And this is where he tells me what it is he's looking for. He tells me, you know, I believe at the time he was 42. He was like, I want to get married and it be for real. He's like, my parents were married 40 plus years before my mom passed away. And I want that. I want marriage, family, a house. Like, that is what I want. He's like, I'm as a man, I'm ready to get married, but I want it to be for real, because the first time, you know, it really hurt me when she cheated on me. So he's telling me everything that I wanted to hear. And so he was like, what is it that you want? And I said pretty much the same thing. I was like, I'm ready to get married, definitely want to have a family, and I want to marry my best friend. So we both put on the table that we wanted marriage. And this is the end of part 1.
Damn. You see that? I'm telling you now, guys, that this is a written script. Because first of all, that was just way too juicy and all the foundation was set. The fact that it has 50 parts. Keep in mind, she said this guy spoke more than her. But she can speak for 8 hours. 50 parts, 10 minutes each. Ridiculous. All hats off to you guys. If you want to continue to watch the rest of this whole series, I'm going to put the link to the description. We just watched the first part right here. Mate, I don't know if I'm going to watch the whole thing yet, because there's a lot in it. I might watch it a bit over time, little by little. We're just seeing it. I want to see how bad this guy is at lying. I just really want to know. And as you can see, the comments are crazy. Look, who just started today? Roll call for who just started today. All these comments and likes is ridiculous, guys. This whole thing has changed your life. And you see how God works. Send your man in to ruin your life, and that ends up saving your life.